Alright, let's pick it up here. This is the Star Arcana. I finished this recently. This is the highest level Star Arcana, Helel. I wasn't able to find his name in the resources, but I was a little bit crafty with this and actually finding some tie to him. Because, from what I've heard, in the original Persona 3 he was called Lucifer. So I looked up that name, and in Latin it means light bearer, which is why they said is bringer of light to mankind. But in Roman myth, Lucifer is the name of, I think it's called Phosphorus or Phosphorus, basically the personification in Greek myth of the planet Venus, which is also called the morning star, which is why the name morning star appears here. So that isn't it's pretty close as I'm gonna get, but it's only so far. Okay, next one, Saturnus. This is pretty accurate. Basically, it's the later description to devouring its own children. This is what was associated in Greek myth with Cronus, the Titans and the son of Gaia. And the story was that Zeus actually did defeat him and retrieve his siblings that was swallowed by Cronus. Cronus is associated with agriculture, but also the name is associated with time, which is why you hear chronology. And I think he's also associated with old age. So he is, in fact, in Greek myth, he's one of the Titans, and that's where this stems from. Alright, Kartikeya. The names that have been followed here, Skanda and Murugan, are pretty much aspects of him as a war god. The rest of the descriptions are pretty vague. As far as is concerned, they're usually said that he is the offspring of Shiva and Parvati, but they're often said that it is also said he is the offspring of Agni as well. Overall, he is pretty much depicted, when I looked online, on a peacock and with a spear. So I think the soldiers or the armies of the gods, I think, are called Viran, but I'm not entirely sure. And Azura, I'll explain that later once we get to Sun Arcana, but it's often associated with a fallen god, a titan, or a demon. Alright, moving on. Garuda. Garuda is basically the name of a very large bird demigod. I think the description of fighting the gods came from the fact that I think one of them is he feuded with Vayu, which is the god of wind, and also is the name of Gale's Atma in Digital Devil Saga. But after that feud, a part of a mountain broke off and it became Kaiwan, or Sri Lanka. As I said with Nagas, they're pretty much eternal enemies to the Nagas, and Garuda is, again, the carrier of Vishnu. The theme with Garuda is also carried through Buddhism, is carried into Southeast Asia and also China, which is, I think, why they call the Peng Nao in Chinese. So, okay, moving on. Alright, next one, Ganesha. This description is pretty accurate. He was created by Parvati, so nobody could watch her bathing, but some say that the destruction of his original head was a bit more elegant, as it was caused by Shiva's third eye, which has the tendency to destroy practically everything. And he replaced it with the first animal that he found, which was an elephant, so that's how he got an elephant's head. He's basically the god of the arts, basically of wisdom also. And I think the reason his tusk is missing in this is because one of them is he uses it as a pen, and another is there's a legend that he fell off his mount and he had to actually, his insides came out, so he had to actually tie it closed. but he threw his tusk at the moon, which was laughing at him. Okay, Kaiwan. I couldn't find anything. The closest thing I could find was an Ethiopian goddess, or an earth goddess, of the same name, but I don't think that's pretty accurate. Or I don't think this is often associated with Kaiwan here. So I looked up Sekut. The closest thing I found was an aspect of Ninurta, which is a Sumerian god of war, also for agriculture and I think the wind. And in his myth, he's often credited for retrieving the Tablets of Destiny from the monstrous bird Anju or Zhu, which also appears in many Shin Megami Tensei games, but not this one. So, I couldn't find much about him, sadly, but I have no doubt this is why he's called Star. Okay, Nandi is the lowest level of the Star Arcana. He's the white bull of Shiva and is often the ride of Shiva. And as far as I'm concerned, I don't really remember that much about him, as he is pretty much one of the main symbols of Shiva, and I think one of his disciples, as according to this. So this is also there are actually many other sacred cattle in Hinduism. He's just one of them. Another, I think, is probably called the Cow of Plenty, which emerged from the, I think it's called Kamada-Henu, and he emerged from the Sea of Milk. So, I'm sorry I haven't found that much here. So, if you want to add to it, I have no hesitation to listen to whatever you have to say. So I'm going to wrap this up here.